Alright, so what is exactly a long exposure photograph? And also, what's a light painting photograph? And now what the shutter speed is that little curtain inside your camera that opens up and it lets all the light in, and then it shuts and then stops the picture from taking place. Normally, the shutter speed is usually a fractions of a second. So normally, if I take a regular picture right now, it snapped and it was really quick. Let's take a 1 second exposure. Okay? That's why you hear 2 clicks. One when it opens, and the other one when it closes. Now that's what a long exposure is. It's basically pretty much anything above 1 second in length. A light painting photograph is where we have a light source. The most primitive, basic, concrete tool is a flashlight. A light painting photograph is basically, during the long exposure, we're going to be moving a light around the composition. Right now we've got 13 seconds on our camera and the aperture is on f11, ISO 100. Manual mode, of course, to start illuminating the front of the apple. Okay, the picture is taking place right now, and shine the light into the camera and make a silhouette of the apple. And the light that was shining onto the apple from the front, we also have the light trails that are behind the apple shining into the camera. We can shine the light into the camera like this and record the light trails that it makes. Light drawing. And then the other method is mostly known as light painting, where you're shining the flashlight onto your subject. The mag light flashlight. You can adjust the beam either close up like that, or you can spread the beam out. The cap can be taken off completely. We can move the light around objects. The light strokes coming directly from the light bulb, ambient lighting that it spreads onto the subject. A highly recommended light by me. This fiber optic adapter, really fine-tuned light source. Airbrush, very accurate light. So you can get dim, dimmer, you can make it flash, just like that. And now the next one is a very simple LED lights. Are usually cooler in color temperature. Mag lights are a little bit more kind of warm and red a little bit. I could readjust the white balance on my camera, maybe shade or cloudy, and that would warm up the picture completely. LEDs are more directional in nature. The mag lights, you can take the cap off and they're omnidirectional in a 360-degree sphere. I would recommend always just going straight into manual mode on your camera. I would recommend first setting the ISO to the lowest ISO possible. So right now I usually always start off on ISO 100 on my camera. This will eliminate any sort of noise or grain, and it'll just make the image more high quality. I'll then recommend setting the aperture to around f11. Now the shutter speed can be anything you want to. It depends on how long you're going to be light painting the photograph. So if you want to take a photograph that is longer than 30 seconds, you're going to need to get a cable release or a wireless remote for your camera. And then there's a special option on most cameras as well that's called bulb mode. This is where it's a special feature where you can hold down the button on your camera. The shutter speed is determined by how long you hold your finger on the button. So just like that. That's all bulb mode is. The higher the F number, the darker the picture is going to be. The lower the F number, the brighter it's going to be turning out. One last setting that you must remember, the focusing. And when you're on autofocus, just push the button down halfway to autofocus. And then once it's all autofocused up, you would switch to manual focus and then start taking your pictures like normal. Now if you're photographing a landscape or something quite large where it can be difficult to illuminate the actual subject, say I wanted the focus point right here where my finger is. I would simply take a flashlight or a single LED, place it right where my finger was, leave it there, and then get my camera to autofocus on that specific point right there. Then just switch it to manual focus and take the light away and start taking your pictures like normal.